All right, so we're going to work on a practice today for helping to bring us into parasympathetic branch of our nervous system. And I'm sure most of you guys are all familiar, so I talk about this stuff a lot, but we have two branches to our nervous system, our sympathetic and our parasympathetic. And we need both, but we kind of get stuck in that sympathetic branch because physiologically, we can go into it in a moment. So we see something dangerous, we see a bear, instantaneously, we might shift into that fight flight in order to help us survive. But the parasympathetic branch of our nervous system doesn't switch on like that. And there's a lot of survival reasons for that, right? So if we were going to run from the bear, we couldn't just stop and say, oh, let's take a breath. Let's relax for a minute because we wouldn't survive, right? So it takes longer, much longer for us to shift into parasympathetic and kind of be feelings of safety, feelings of relaxation, feelings of healing. And then once we kind of get stuck in that sympathetic, it's harder to get that shift. So I'm going to give you some little nervous system hacks today to help shift us into parasympathetic. It's going to be a very somatically inspired class today. So I'm going to kind of bring in some of those principles from the somatic tradition into our flow. So go ahead and just sit up tall. Find your sit bones. Let them kind of drop into the ground. And then either closing your eyes or finding a soft focal point. And start a breath into your lower belly. So these are all things that we are normally doing in our yoga practice that will help us start to shift. Stillness and breath are two of the best ways to get into it, right? Because if we're in fight flight, chances are, we're not going to be still. We're not going to be focusing on our breathing. So go ahead and take a moment for that. And the more subtle and soft the breath is, as opposed to kind of forceful, heavy breath, that's going to be a good way to shift as well. So let the breath get really quiet, really soft, and low down, as opposed to up in our chest. And I'm going to give you a couple more tools while we're here that I'm going to ask you to utilize during our practice today. The next one is about our tongue in the mouth. So when we are really stressed, we can get dryness in our mouth. All of our resources start to get directed to our limbs to help us fight and flee. So we want to kind of bring everything back in and let the mouth start to relax. So allow your tongue to soften away from your bottom teeth and sort of rest and cool into the bottom of your mouth. And throughout practice, see if you can notice when your tongue's getting a little bit more, strained, or if it's pressing on anything, and see if you can soften your tongue in your mouth. And you might notice as you let the tongue relax away from your teeth and rest in the bottom of your mouth, that you might start to feel more moisture come in, might need to swallow. So allow that to happen. That's a good sign. So soft breath into the belly, subtle breath. Tongue still and quiet in the mouth. And now we'll focus on our eyes. So we're going to bring our hands together in front of our eyes. So just put like a prayer position. And as you inhale, we're going to take the palms and open them up wide. And as you do so, imagine your vision widening, your peripheral vision softening. And then as you exhale, bring your hands together and see if you can gaze at your thumbs, but without a hard focus. Keep it a little soft. And do that a few more times. Inhale, open wide. And then exhale, bring in. So if we're really kind of stressed, we're going to be really hyper-focused in our vision. So let the vision be soft, soft eyes, soft tongue. One more time here, back to center. And then slowly let those hands come back down. Okay, so those are the principles we're going to include. And we're also going to use a lot of kind of really swaying, soft, kind of rocking motions that are going to be like a lullaby for your nervous system. So we're going to now come onto our backs after I've introduced those couple of things to you guys. And now that my stress levels are also a little reduced after my crazy technical morning. And if it's okay for you, let's go ahead and not have anything under your head. If you need to, just something thin would be ideal. And then let your arms be at your side. And we're going to slowly start to turn the head over to one shoulder. And then allow your head to roll over to the other shoulder. So we're going to do some cranial, sacral kind of rhythms today. Cranium and sacrum are a big part of parasympathetic. So when we work with these kind of two polar ends of our spine, it can be very soothing. Now gradually let that turn of the head get smaller and smaller and more subtle until you're starting to kind of come back into stillness. So let it be a gradually getting smaller, like you're barely moving your head. If you've ever gone for cranial sacral treatment, you know, they do these kinds of head rolls. And then slowly come to a stop. Bring your arms out to a T. Feet as wide as your mat. And go ahead and windshield wiper your legs side to side. Again, let it be really slow. Try not to do any rapid, jerky kind of movements. And then let's let our head go with our knees. So let your head go in the same direction as your knees. And see if you can keep your movement really subtle. Stay subtle in your awareness. One of my teachers said that subtle is kind of the doorway to spirit. Spirit's very subtle. It's not obvious. Now the next time your knees drop over to one side and your head rolls in that direction, keep rolling and take the opposite arm and reach it over your head. So you're kind of like in a side bend, the top leg is behind you and you roll toward the floor. And then go ahead and make your way back to the start. And then go to the other side, knees and head roll. And then that opposite arm is going to roll over your head. Press into your feet, and even maybe get a little arch to your back. And then repeat that slowly side to side. Just make it be like a really nice rocking movement from side to side. And just do one more on each side. And we'll come back to the center. And bring your right knee into your chest. Left leg out straight. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, pull your knee in towards your chest. Try to keep it as close as you can, and then hook your hands behind your thigh and interlace your hands. Take an inhale, exhale, pull that knee a little closer. And now as you inhale, straighten the leg any amount without going into like strain or force. And then as you exhale, bring that heel back down and pull your knee closer in. Try to keep it closer in as you straighten that leg. And it doesn't have to go all the way straight, because if we do, then we're kind of forcing the movement, which isn't going to bring us into parasympathetic. So try not to be forceful in your movements today. Try not to get grippy or muscle your way into anything. We want to stay in the realm of the subtle. Good, and then full body stretch, other side. Left knee hugs in, take an inhale, exhale, pull it in closer. Keep it in, and then hold behind the back of your thigh. And then as you inhale, straighten that leg and the mount. And as you exhale, pull it in towards your chest. And try that a few more times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, pull in. Do that 2 more times without forcing that leg to be completely straight, unless it really easily goes straight. And then full body stretch, next inhalation. Exhale, both the knees draw in. Take an inhale, exhale, pull those knees in, belly to spine. Both hands come behind the backs of your thighs. And now keeping your sacrum down, as you inhale, try to straighten both legs. And as you exhale, pull in. And try to keep the knees closer as you try to straighten on the inhale. 2 more rounds. So this initial warm up, just kind of establishing the sense of moving slowly, a little more subtle, focusing on our breath. Now after this last one, we're going to roll over to our side and go ahead and come on up into a seated position again. Option to sit up on something if you like. Okay, so establish your posture, establish the soft tongue in your mouth. Establish your soft breath into your belly and soft eyes. We're going to add one more thing to the practice that you can use throughout. It's called Sham mantra. So it's spelled S-H-A-M, but it's kind of pronounced more like a soft U, like shum, shum. And this is a mantra given to me by Tias. And he says, let me just read a little bit, is a mantra of peace, detachment, and liberation. It calms the mind and promotes mental stability, can help in meditation, and granting dedication to one's spiritual practice. So you can use that sound of shum throughout the practice. I particularly like to use it on the exhale. So inhale softly into the belly, exhale, shum. And now start a small circle with your torso. Just go in one direction a few times. And each time you come forward, we'll start coming a little bit more into a forward bend. And then reverse it, go the other direction. Each time you come forward a little bit more. Good. Now the next time you come around to the front, stay there and place your hands on the ground. And really notice and feel your hands on the ground. And then we take a side-to-side sway. So sometimes we kind of just plop ourselves right into a forward fold, but this swaying action that we're going to use today allows for a softer approach. Keep walking your hands out till you feel like that's it, and then we're going to pause. So don't force it. And now here's another little thing we're going to work with today is the lifting and lowering of the chin, also taps into cranial sacral rhythm. So as you inhale, your body, upper body like a wave, inhale, roll up and lift your chin up slightly. And now as you exhale, drop your chin and round your spine. Chin comes in towards your chest and head bows down. And then repeat that. Inhale like a wave, roll up. And then exhale like a wave in your spine. Roll down, bring your chin in. Keep everything soft. One more time. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, coming down. Chin comes in, spine rounds. And now slowly walk your hands back in. And just switch your legs. We're going to do that one more time, and then we'll get moving a little bit more. So start with circling. Coming a little more forward as you pass to the front, and then reverse other direction. Just letting everything be nice and meditative in the movements. Next time you come forward, hands touch the ground. Really feel those hands on the ground. And then start to sway right to left. Very slowly, starting to come deeper into that forward fold, walking your hands out any amount. And when you feel like you've gone as far as you can without strain, come back to stillness. And then we inhale into our wave, lift the chin. And then as you exhale, chest drops, chin comes in, head goes down. 3 more rounds like that. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, round in. 2 more cycles. And after this next one, slowly begin to walk yourself back up. Good. All right, so we'll come into tabletop pose and continue moving. And we'll do a few rounds of cat-cow, feeling that same kind of spinal wave idea. So as you inhale, the chin is going to lift a little bit. And as you exhale, start to bring that chin in, rounding through your spine. So cat-cow is also kind of a cranial sacral rhythm. So let's do a few more cycles just like that. Two more. On your next exhalation, stay in cat pose, rounding your spine, press through the tops of your feet, spread your shoulder blades, and then let's circle the hips around a few times. And then go the other direction. And back to the center. Step your hands slightly forward of your shoulders, preparing for down dog. We're going to take an inhale, lift that chin a little bit. And as you exhale, start to drop your chin, lift your hips, come into your dog, and look back towards your feet, lengthening back of the skull. And then we're going to repeat that. Knees down, slight lift of the chin, soft eyes, soft tongue. Exhale back, down dog. We're going to do that 2 more rounds. Maybe bringing in your sham meditation mantra as you exhale. One more time. stay in your dog and widen your feet as wide as your mat. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Coming into a forward fold at the back of your mat. Bring a soft bend into your knees and really surrender your upper body toward the ground. Press steadily through your feet. And now as you inhale, bring your hands up on your thighs to halfway lift. Lift the chin a little bit. We're going to find that wave-like motion. And now exhale, bow down, chin comes in, crown of the head releases. 2 more rounds. Inhale, lift up, slight lift of your chin. Exhale, chin lowers. You're getting more flexion through your spine. Last round. And then let the exhale start to be longer than your inhales. Now we're going to stay down there and either hold opposite elbows or let your hands kind of sway along the floor and just rock it side to side, like a little sway. Coming back to the center, press in your feet and roll yourself up. As you get to the top, give your shoulders a little roll. Good. All right, and then let's step to the top of the mat. We'll go through a couple rounds of sun salves, and let's try to keep all these principles that we've been talking about. So soft gaze, soft tongue, subtle breath, nice kind of slow movement. Inhale, reach the arms up. Maybe a slight lift of your chin as you come up, and then exhale, fold, let that chin start to come in all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, and plant your hands, step back, plank pose. As you're ready, lower all the way down to the ground. Inhale, cobra pose, keep the eyes soft, and then do your little sway in your cobra today. Maybe your head rolls and looks over your shoulders. Maybe your hips are rolling. And then release back to the start. Coming into downward facing dog. If you like, go to knees, press toward child's pose, and then up to dog. So a little softer approach, up to you. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, walk your feet to meet your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, chin comes in. Inhale, rise up, reach through your arms. Maybe the chin lifts. And then release, arms down at your side. Good. So another round of Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step back, plank pose, top of a push-up. Lower down, you can always drop knees today since we're going a little more relaxed. Inhale, just straight through cobra this time, soft eyes. Down dog, either right to dog or press back toward child. And then up to dog. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, walk your feet forward. I don't recommend the jumping for a practice like today. It's up to you though. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, and fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Take your vinyasa or go to your dog. If you want to do an up dog here, that would be fine. Just keep a soft gaze as you come into it. Meeting in dog, and as you inhale, right leg up. Bend your knee, open your hip, and let's circle that knee around. Try not to go too quickly. And then reverse your circle. Take that leg straight back up, and then step through, coming into a lunge. Drop your back knee down, and we're gonna come into lizard. So wide in the front foot, wide in the back knee, space in your hips. Find your nice soft gaze, maybe close your eyes, and we're circling the hips here in our lizard. Just keep those circles very slow so you can stay aware. And then reverse it, go the other direction. Walk that foot back to the center. If you need blocks for half Hanumanasana, grab your blocks, coming up a little higher. And then we're going to straighten the front leg, coming into half splits. Spread through your toes. You can stay up high on your blocks for a moment if you're using them. And then we're going to do that little kind of waving motion. Inhale, lift your chin up a little bit, and then exhale, lower, chin comes in, and fold. So if you want, you can lower your blocks, or if you can easily go to the floor, and do that a few times. Inhale, lift up, slight lift up chin. Exhale, round and fold. One more time. And next time you come up, re-bend into the front knee, bring your hands up on your front thigh, and then inhale, reach the arms out and out. And as you do so, hold here for a few breaths, maybe slide into your front knee. Find your soft eyes, soft tongue, subtle breath. Release your hands down to the floor, lift your back knee. We're gonna spin that heel down and come up into warrior two. So I'm gonna switch directions, so I'll be facing you. Okay. So warrior two, we're gonna soften it up a little bit by turning the palms up, soften your elbows. And then as you inhale, straighten the front leg, reach the arms overhead. And as you exhale, softly bring them down, palms stay up, elbows stay a little bent. And then do that with your breath a few more rounds. One more time. And now hold it, look over your right fingers, keep those palms up, shoulders back. And then try not to get too grippy in your feet. So see if you can let the toes stay relaxed. Try not to get grippy in your jaw. Find that soft tongue, soft eyes. Subtle breath. One more here. And then from here, side angle, forearm to thigh, top hand on the hip. And root into your feet without gripping, roll your chest open. And take both shoulder heads back so we feel open through the chest. From here, we're going to straighten the front leg and slide the hand down to the ankle or the floor for triangle pose. Pausing here. Spin your bottom arm open and try to turn your front leg open so we get a little more stable and open there. And then roll your top shoulder back. Can you stay in that subtle realm as you start to work harder? Now, turn your gaze down towards your front big toe, right big toe. Tuck your chin in and lengthen the crown of the head. And kind of reach your sacrum back away from the crown of the head. Top arm can reach up if you're steady. Staying here with the softness of the eyes. One more breath. On your next inhalation, bend into your knee, rise back up to your warrior two. Very good. Cartwheel your hands down. Step it back, down dog. Take the vinyasa if you would like. But notice if you get to the point where you feel like you're forcing, you're gripping, you're creating tension. And then we'll repeat that sequence on side two by inhaling the left leg up high. Bend your knee, open your hip, and find a few circles in one direction at first. Try not to go too quickly. And then reverse it, go the other way. Take that leg straight up. Step it through, coming into lizard. Drop the back knee. Widen the front foot, widen the back knee. Blocks if you need them, and then circle your hips around. And then reverse, go the other direction. Back to the center, walk that foot back in, preparing for half split. So blocks if you want to start with that. We're going to straighten that front leg, try not to lock your knee. And then as you inhale, lift the chest, slight lift of your chin. And as you exhale, rolling down, chin comes in. Couple more rounds, you can lower your blocks or bring hands to the floor. Stay really soft in everything you do. One more time. And then from here, we're going to bend into that front knee again. And lift your back knee, spin your heel down, and rise up into your warrior two. Finding that softer warrior two with the palms up and the elbows soft. And then let's inhale, straighten the leg, reach the arms up. And as you exhale, it's like a floating feeling, almost like you're doing Tai Chi. Let those arms float down. Just do that a few more rounds. Straighten on the inhale. Exhale. Sham. It's a calming word. One more time. Pausing here and coming into side angle. Forearm to thigh, top hand on the hip. Good, and then roll the top shoulder back. Slide your hand down to ankle or the floor. And we're going to straighten that front leg coming into our triangle variation. Roll the bottom shoulder back. Left leg spirals open. Top shoulder rolls back. And then we're going to look down at the big toe. Tuck your chin. Reach the crown of the head and sacrum away from each other. And then top arm might reach up. Breathing here, notice if you're gripping in your toes. Last breath. And we're rising back up to our warrior two with soft arms. And let's hold our warrior two here and hold it before triangle. Just let their gaze be soft, the tongue be soft. Couple of breaths. All right, let's cartwheel the hands down to the ground. Step it back, take the vinyasa if you would like. Meeting in dog. All right, big inhalation here. As you exhale, step or lightly jump, top of the mat. Inhale in a wave, halfway lift. Exhale, folding in. Inhale, rise all the way up. And release, arms at your side. So sometimes the jumping can be a little jarring for the system, so if you can lightly jump, much better. But even still, I would say for today, for me, I wouldn't jump. Okay, let's do a couple of tree poses. And we're gonna try and keep these same principles. Can we find a balance without gripping our toes, without getting really intense with our eyes? Can we keep our tongue soft in our mouth? And maybe even use our mantra. So see if we can use some of these tools in our tree pose. So we're gonna stand on right leg. And let's start with just a kickstand. So heel above the ankle and hands at your heart. So before we try to lift that foot, let's find some of those actions we've been working on. Wide peripheral vision. So eyes are soft. Tongue relaxed in your mouth. Subtle breath. If you feel safe enough, stable enough, that you're not going to disturb the subtlety of the pose, bring the foot off the ground. Can you still hold on to some of those principles? You can still hug into the middle without creating the gripping. And then some of you might be able to take the arms up. Is your face still soft? And then let's let the arms come out to the side. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's twist toward your bent leg. See if you can stay soft, not force it. And then inhale, bring it back up through the center. And as you exhale, arms down like our warrior two again, soft elbows, soft hands. Bring your thumb and index finger together and pause. But slowly release. All right, so a little different from when we get into it and we just try to muscle our way into those balance postures and we grip. So we'll see if we can keep that soft approach on the other side. Standing on left leg, start with kickstand. So we can establish that feeling of stability and safety before we progress. Hands can come to your heart. Wide peripheral vision, soft tongue. Only using what you need to be stable. So maybe some outer hip strength here. Maybe a little lift in the belly, length in the tailbone. If you can maintain your stability and subtlety, lift that foot. Maybe the arms come up. You keep a little separation between your teeth and your lips. And then arms come out to the side, soft arms, inhale, exhale, twist toward the right. Any amount, if you go too far, you lose your stability. Inhale, back up. Exhale, arms back to the soft T. Thumb and index finger touch and hold here. And slowly release. Foot down, arms down. Have a pause. Full breath cycle here in mountain pose. All right, we're gonna go through our same sequence again. We're gonna add a piece on. So top of the mat when you're ready. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, and we're gonna step the right foot back, come into our lizard. Drop down onto that back knee. Widen the front foot, widen the back knee, and circle your hips. Go the other direction. Back to the center, walk your foot in. Walk your back knee in, you're about hips distance apart, and then shift back toward your half Hanumanasana. So straightening the front leg, you can wiggle that front foot forward, try not to get locked up in your knee joint. Let's take a round of a wave breath. Inhale, lift your chin. Exhale, round and fold. Inhale, come back up. Now you can stay here if this next move is too much for you. What we're gonna do is shift back, and we're gonna see if we can sit back onto the back heel. So if that's too much, you can stay in the half Hanumanasana. We're gonna flex those left toes, walk your fingers a little forward, and then find that kind of swaying to see if you might be able to walk it forward a little bit. It's like a gentle rock side to side. And then at some point, just finding a little stillness, tuck your chin in and let the forehead drop. Holding another breath. And then from here, start to come forward, back into your lunge. Lift your back knee, spin that heel down, warrior two. Palms turn up. Inhale, straighten the leg, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, pull down. Two more like that. See if we can make sure tailbone is drawing down, low belly is lifting up. So we're as neutral in the pelvis as we can. If we have a big arch in our lumbar, that's going to be a little bit more fight-flight body position. Hold your warrior two. Side angle pose, forearm to thigh. This time, reach that top arm up and over your ear. Good. Top arm reaches up, straighten your leg, triangle pose. Keep the top arm up, spiral bottom leg, bottom arm open, and look down at your big toe. Tuck your chin, lengthen crown of head. And then try to turn the top ribs up a little bit more. We're getting into the area of the neck where our vagus nerve exits our cranium. We get really bound up in that area. So this neck work, we're doing a triangle, working on that place. Back to warrior two. Good. Cartwheel your hands down. Slide the front foot, left foot back like pigeon, and come down and bend your back knee. So it's like a messy pigeon pose. Okay, turning toward that left leg. And then find a gentle kind of swaying side to side to fold over your front leg. Now, if you're down far enough, grab a block and put a block under your forehead. And we're going to stay for a few breaths. If your forehead reaches the ground or your hands, you don't need the block. But what I'm looking for is to have the head supported. So the forehead is supported. It's a little more calming for those cranial sacral rhythms, a little more calming for the nervous system. You might even roll your head from right to left across your arms or your block or the floor. All right, slowly start to bring yourself up. Take your time. We're going to bring the back leg around to the front so you're like in a twist. And then we'll come into the twist to the right. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, look over your back shoulder. Inhale, unwind without losing your length. Exhale, twist. And let there be a slow movement of your head. One more time. Hold the twist now for a couple of breaths. Soft eyes, tongue releasing in your mouth. Sham mantra. As you inhale, looking forward, and we're going to bring the hands to the left inside that right foot. Some of you were in somatics the other day and you did this movement. We're going to take that top leg out in front of you and swing it back behind you. And then repeat that. Bring that foot forward into kind of the cross twist and then swing it back. Just do that 2 more rounds. After the next one, we're going to keep the leg behind you. So keep the leg behind you. You might have a little bend. You could come into another messy pigeon if you prefer, or we're coming into a full pigeon. So now pivot onto the front. Support that left hip if you have any strain in that front knee. And then right leg is straight back behind you. We're going to stay up on the hands for a moment. And then sway it side to side and kind of let your pigeon be a rocking pigeon. You might even feel like you're circling your torso. Just kind of lulling your nervous system into going deeper, walking your hands out. Eventually coming down and finding support for your head. So either your head on your hands, the floor, a block. And come into a few moments of stillness. And as you pause in your pigeon, maybe bringing that shum into your mind so that we don't get caught up in thought. Stay soft and really let go of all effort here. Let there be a sweetness to the surrender into the pose. Are you accumulating any tension in your jaw or your tongue? Last 3 breaths, soft breath into the belly. After your third breath, take your time coming out. We're going to take ourselves back into a down dog. Moving slowly, pedal it out, move around. And then we're going to make our way to the top of the mat, and we'll start that sequence on the other side. So as you get to the top, take one round, inhale, halfway lift, chin lifts. Exhale, roll the spine down, chin in. Inhale, rise up, reach up. And exhale, release, arms down. Have a breath in your mountain pose. And let's go to the other side. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and we're going to step that left foot to the back of the mat now. I think I'm going to go to the other side, so we still face you guys. All right, so lizard pose, walking the knee and foot away a little bit, widening, and then circle. So the circling really works a lot with that water element in the body. Water element is very soothing for our nervous system. So when we're really stressed, our nerves are more fried. That we can think of that as dryness. So these fluid movements, reverse if you haven't, it's going to create us more of a feeling of moisture. Walk it back into center, blocks if you need them, half Hanumanasana. Straighten the front leg, be mindful of not locking the joints. And then inhale, lift the chin, exhale, round and fold. And then either staying with a half Hanumanasana or shifting back and sit back onto your heel. Front foot is softly flexed. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, start to slowly sway it down. Walk your hands out to your capacity. And once you find your end point, chin in, forehead drops. And that gives a little more flexion to our spine. So I think in yoga, we often vilify too much spinal flexion because we're often very rounded over our desks and things like that. But there is a lot of benefit for the nervous system if we find a softly rounded spine. We obviously don't want to create, a big hump in our back, but just that gentle curve, very soothing. Last breath here. All right, and then when you're ready, slowly starting to shift forward. Lift your back knee, spin your heel down, warrior two. Soft arms. Good, inhale, straighten, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend right into side angle, forearm to thigh, top arm reaches overhead. The top arm up, triangle pose, slide the hand down. Spiral bottom leg, bottom arm open. And then look down at your big toe. Tuck your chin and lengthen, crown of head. And then as you lengthen crown of the head, really keep the chin in and roll the top rib cage up. One more breath. Rise back up, warrior two. Good. Cartwheel your hands down. And now we're coming into that messy pigeon. So bend the knee at the front knee and then bend the back knee as you sit down. Turn your chest toward that front leg And start to sway side to side and walk your hands out. Eventually settle and let your forehead rest either on your hands or a block or the floor. Chin is slightly in. Stay for a few breaths. So here's another nervous system hack that I learned. So a lot of people do these polar bear plunges, and I learned that this cold water thing is actually a way to shift into parasympathetic. So people get that initial shock, and then I'm not really sure the whole science of it, but the body has to try and conserve oxygen as it gets into this cold water, and it'll help us shift into parasympathetic. So I hate cold water, but the hack I learned was that you can just put your forehead in a pool of like ice water and stay for 10 seconds, and it'll have a similar effect as doing that whole polar bear plunge. So I haven't tried it, but I thought I'd put it out there in case anyone wants to give it a try. I've been doing kind of the couple of seconds of the cold shower water. It's not my favorite thing, but I've been doing that as an alternate, and that sort of seems to help as well. All right, slowly starting to come up. We're going to bring that back leg around, coming into that twist position, twist toward that front leg. And then we're going to inhale into the twist, looking back, and then exhale slightly forward. And do that a few times. Inhale, look back. Exhale, forward. 2 more. Now hold the twist for a couple breaths. See if you can stay soft in the eyes, the tongue. Find your shum meditation. All right, slowly unwind it back to the start. Bring your hands onto the ground inside that foot, and then we're going to swing the leg back and swing it front. And we'll do that a few more times. So kind of easing ourselves toward a full pigeon. That hip open. Next time the leg comes back, stay there and start to shift into your pigeon. So you're going to need to pivot forward a little bit. Support the front hip if you have any knee strain, or stay in messy pigeon. And then we're up high for a little rocking. Sway the upper body, maybe rock on that front shin if it feels okay. So just kind of whatever feels nice in the hips here. And then start to walk your hands forward and eventually try to rest your forehead on some support. And then we drop into stillness for a few breaths here. Let there be a little space between your teeth, softening through the mouth. All right, we're gonna slowly start to come out. Please don't rush. Make your way back, downward facing dog. If you feel like cuddling it out or swaying your hips a little, feel free. And then we'll meet in child's pose from here. So when you're ready, just finding a child's pose. We're going to end a few minutes late because of my technical fiasco this morning. So hope you guys are okay to stay like maybe 5 to 7 minutes late. So let's take about 5 breath cycles in your child's. Forehead is supported in this pose, and we're in a slight forward fold. You might even gently roll your head from side to side. Right, so from your child's pose, let's go ahead and come onto our backs. Arms at your side. We're gonna set up for bridge, but we're gonna do kind of a more of a cranial sacral bridge, so like a rolling of the spine. Some of you have done it with me before. So just settle with your arms at your side, feet flat. Feel and sense your feet dropping into the ground. I'm going to take the arms into a goalpost position. So elbows in line with shoulders. Starting with just a brief rocking of the pelvis, a little cranial sacral rhythm there. So tip the pelvis forward and you'll arch your back and let your chin come towards your chest. So as we rock the pelvis, the head will also move. And then flatten your lower back. Tip your tailbone up and let your chin lift away from your chest slightly. Press your lower back. And then just do that a few more times. And eventually we're going to take this into a rolling bridge pose. So explore this rocking cranial sacral rhythm for a few more rounds. Noticing the slight movement of the head as you move your pelvis. And now let the arms come down at your side. Keep that rocking going. Next time you tip forward, pause. And then start to flatten your back slowly. Start to peel your tailbone off the ground. Peel your hips off the ground. And lift up slowly, slowly into a bridge as high as your hips and tailbone can take you. So you're on your shoulders. And then when you're ready, keep the hips up. Let the top of the spine start to drop, one vertebra at a time. As if you could lay those vertebrae down away from each other, creating space. Tailbone stays up until last. Then sacrum and tailbone come down, and we arch the back. Tip the tailbone forward, low back lifts. And then flatten and start to curl up. So you can do this at your own pace now. Let's try 2 or 3 more cycles. Depending on how slowly you go and how many you'll be able to fit in. Slower is better. Especially here at the end of practice. You don't want to get too intense. We're inhaling as we arch the tailbone and arch the low back, and then exhale to curl up. Use that exhale to press the feet down. Press the arms down gently. And then maybe start that inhale as you come back down, slowly, slowly arching your back. You can let the exhale be longer. Last round, and if that breath pattern is not working for you, do what works for you. It's interesting for me. I find that when I do this like subtle type of bridge, I can actually get up higher than when I'm like muscling my way through it. It's really interesting. I think because it's relaxing the psoas and hip flexors a bit when we're working with this subtle energy. That's just a theory. Come on all the way down. Take a breath in neutral. Bring those knees into your chest. Give them a good squeeze. And then maybe some circles on your sacrum here. Reverse your circle if you're circling. When you're ready, let's come into a happy baby if you like a happy baby. If not, you can do an air-bound angle. Hold your ankles, let your knees drop. So either position, but notice if you're straining, gripping to find your pose. Keep it soft. And you might choose to rock it out a little bit. You'll know that these rocking motions are soothing for a child. They're also soothing for us. When you are ready to go ahead and make your way into your Shavasana. So grabbing anything that would help you feel comfortable, particularly making sure that you don't get cold. We're not in a cold season, but as the body relaxes, our temperature will drop more, we'll be colder. So when we're in fight flight, we're getting hot. We get hot-headed, we get a hot flushed face. Very different physiology when we are relaxed. Now, as you settle, take a few moments to stick with conscious breath. Let every exhale be like a full body sigh into the ground. Let your back body drop into the ground. Maybe having an awareness to the back of the skull, back of the sacrum, so that we feel that cranial sacral connection. Deeply resting into the ground. Take a few more minutes to rest here. As you continue to rest, I'll have today's reading. This is from Jeff Foster's book called The Way of Rest. This is called Where We Stand. You are lost without hope. Your heart has shattered into a million pieces today. You cannot put the jigsaw puzzle of your life back together, no matter how hard you try. Doubts and questions rage like wildfire in the vast field of your being, and you cannot find a place of connection anywhere. Even the bird song at first, light, seems to be happening on a remote planet. Everything that seemed permanent has been smashed. All your certainties have melted suddenly into thin air. Nobody seems to have the answers. I offer no words of guidance, no hope, no promises, no dream of this devastation ever ceasing. You are lost without hope, and what is left is but a radical commitment to the ground on which you stand. A marriage to the humility, to the origin, your birthplace. Sometimes we fall apart. And sometimes in the midst of falling apart, we remember more clearly where our feet are rooted. The earth, the ground, held by gravity, always falling and yet somehow always supported. Sometimes we are brought to our knees and we remember our knees. And nothing has happened from the perspective of the ground, save for the bird song and the first light of dawn. Take a couple of moments to notice how you're feeling. You're ready to allow a deeper breath to begin, inviting in small movements, maybe starting a little turn of your head. Taking your time, maybe a stretch or a knee hug. We're going to come up to sit when you are ready, finding any support you need for a brief seated practice. So we'll once again establish a nice tall spine, shoulders soft. Just reminding ourselves of all these principles of our practice today. So a soft breath into the belly. If the eyes are closed, let the corners of the eyes really soften. Let the eyes soften, as if they were receding away from your eyelids. If they are open, a soft focus. Let the tongue rest in the bottom of your mouth, away from your teeth. In a pool of moisture. Let there be space between the teeth and your lips. Soften the jaw. Let every exhale be like a full body sigh. Find your Shum meditation. Soft breath into the belly on your inhale. Soft exhale, Shum, on the exhale. Everything, find the subtlety of awareness, the subtlety of breath. Subtlety is our connection to where spirit resides. Let's take 3 more breath cycles here. After your third breath, go ahead and bring your hands together in front of your heart space. On your next inhale, let the heart lift, and exhale, bow your head down. Thank you so much, everyone. Namaste. All right, thank you guys. If you have any questions,